As I sit in one of our 600 children's advocacy centers, I reflect on our mutual love of children. Let's celebrate the things they give us, their smiles, their love, their laughter. Let's cherish the things we place in their small hands to hold, our hopes, our dreams, our future. Many of you know me as Picabo Street, an Olympic champion, but I'm also Picabo Street, a child's friend. I invite you to be a champion like me, a champion for children. Through your support and donations and a mutual effort, we can give back to these children and stop child abuse. 3 very special people have offered to share their stories with us as victims, as survivors, and now thrivers. This is why we do what we do.
It started when I was 6. I grew up in Utah, my family went to church, and at night I was molested. Of those nights come back to me every day of my life. I recall the day I turned for help and let out the secret to my parents, who confronted the family member and heard his denial. They believed him and not me. A stern finger was pointed in my face as the words were shouted by my father, "You will never speak of this again." Thus the abuse continued. I was left with nowhere to turn. This affected me deeply, and I am certain it is a major reason I turned to prescription drugs and alcohol to blanket the pain. For years I was wrapped up in substance abuse. I was an addict. At the age of 52, after a life of confusion, self-esteem issues, and devastation in family and career matters, I sought help through a professionally administered recovery program. Research data demonstrates that child abuse is connected to a variety of addictions, and it's destroying the lives of many people. I wish there would have been a place of safety, guidance, and hope to help me in my childhood. I wish there would have been a place where guardians could get information and children could get their therapeutic assistance. All those years of self-hate and shame could have been safe, happy, positive years. My wish is now fulfilled with Children's Justice Centers. Thank God for places like the Children's Justice Centers for today's kids who need their services.
I'm here tonight because I'm 47 years old now. When I was 13 years old, as a small boy living on a sheep ranch in rural Utah, I was diagnosed with a life-threatening kidney disease. And on the same day that my life was taken from me at age 13, by being told that I had this kidney disease and wouldn't live to be age 19. I was also sexually molested by the physician who on that day told me that and stole my life from me in one way. I was sexually molested by the same man that clinically was supposed to save my life. And I'm here tonight to join hands with Picabo and others because back then there was nowhere for me to turn. Nowhere for my family to turn other than inside. And it's important for me at this time to finally share my story and to finally step forward because I know that this goes on, and now I know about the Children's Justice Center and this cause that Picabo and others represent. And I want others to have the strength to come forward to join hands in helping to stop this and helping everyone recognize there is a place to come, there is a place to turn, and your life doesn't need to turn inside and inward and fester when you have somewhere like this that you can turn for the help that is out there. We're all here tonight to make a difference so that there's always somewhere for children to turn, and so that someday people like me never have to come forward because there won't be any more people who need to come forward.
From the time that I was 7 until I was about 11 and a half, I was molested by a family member. He wasn't in my immediate family, but he was my cousin, and he would always come with our family, and he would stay for weeks and weeks at a time and just kind of took advantage of me and molested me again and again and again, and my cousin also. I was the perfect little girl. I hated myself. And the way that I dealt with it is I tried to be perfect. 3 times a week I would take all my dolls off my shelves and I would dust them over and over and over again, and I had straight A's and I was perfect. But inside I hated myself, and no one knew my secrets except for me and my cousin. I just went throughout my life with my smiles and my happy little face that were fake. Every day I had my own little mask on. And so long story short, I'm sitting in the computer room and my mom gets a prompting to come and ask me what had happened. And she ignored it. She's peeling potatoes. It's Sunday. The cousins are coming over. His family's actually coming over for dinner. And once again it says, go ask Kenzie what happened between her and Ryan. And she comes in the computer room and opens the door and looks at me and she says, Kenzie, what happened with you and Ryan? And I remember sitting there and my face, I lost all the color in my face and I was sick. And I looked at her and I said, Mom, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Just trying to cover up my secret. I didn't want anyone to know. And she asked me again and I just lost it. I completely broke down and I fell on the floor, and it was like I melted into the carpet, and I just sobbed and sobbed and sobbed and was trying to talk, but I couldn't even say any words. And she just held me and let me cry, and then we began our process here with the CJC. They took me in the room and I told my story and I gave all my little secrets away. I got to go and pick my own blanket, and I took it and I wrapped it around me and it covered me. The Children's Justice Center was that comfort. All of these women and these children and these men that go through this, that's what we are. We are survivors. Our stories help others. The Children's Justice Center is a miracle.
I'm Nancy Chandler. I'm the Executive Director of National Children's Alliance. What you've just heard is a few of the stories of people whose lives have been touched by child abuse. Every year in our country there are hundreds of thousands of children that are terribly abused by parents, by family members, by teachers, by people that they trust. We want to make sure that child abuse ends in our country and in our lifetime. Last year alone, our programs, the Children's Advocacy Centers, provided services to over 160,000 children. We know that with your help, we can stop this vicious cycle of child abuse, and we can make sure that all the children in our country are protected. Thank you for all that you do for our children.